Hello and welcome to the Philippines, and welcome to Dumaguete City, the Philippines, over on Negros Island. Made a recent trip here. I think I was here for a brief visit about 4 years ago, and a lot has changed down here. I'm going to show you around a little bit about the boardwalk down here at the seafront and across the street. They've got kind of a major street right to the left here. And they've got bars and restaurants, and I'll show you in one of the bars and a disco and some of the bars, coffee shops. Lots going on here. Lots have changed. A lot of things are still the same. Many of these restaurants and bars across the street have managed to survive 2 years of travel restrictions here, so that is the good news. This is a Saturday night, and it is, they've got like a youth, I think an International Youth Day, and they're celebrating. They've got food stands out. I think any given night there are a number of food stands out, probably. They've got a lot of youth activities going on. They had some kind of a concert set up, a bandstand. And my friends tried to convince me to eat balut, which they did, but I had no motivation to do so. He said, "Oh, it'll help your your YouTube channel," but there are some sacrifices I'm just not quite ready. And they tasted one. They just don't look good. To open an egg and see black egg. And the one guy said, yeah, his was fertilized long enough. It had a beak and no feathers, but a beak, so that he did not eat, I guess. They had some really interesting games going on here. A lot of new games I've never heard about before. They had different groups of kids, I guess, mostly kids, some adults in white uniforms like this, practicing karate lessons.
Karate? Is this karate?
Yeah, it's karate.
So you're learning?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Number of other new games that I've never seen before. This is like basketball, but they're using a volleyball, I believe, or a soccer ball. Very high hoop, very, very high hoop. And over to the left here, they're doing volleyball with a kick, using their feet to kick the ball and their head, I believe. Going back across the boulevard, there's the Why Not bar, restaurant, disco. Back there's the boardwalk and sea view over there. And number of bars. I've had to mute the music because of copyright type issues. And we'll go into the Why Not bar shortly, but they got another bar here. Bar, restaurant, and lots of people hanging out. It's open air, hanging out outside and across the street listening to the music. And this is going into the disco, and they've got a delicatessen out here to the left and a restaurant to the right. Was going to meet my friends there after work, but they decided to eat someplace else, so I met them up a little bit later. And this we went into the Why Not disco, and when I hear the word disco, man, I cringe, because my experience is very loud, bad noise music, what they call music. And this place actually was kind of interesting place. Pretty large. They had one or more, I think, a couple of billiards tables. One of my friends played billiards. These guys took care of 1 or 2 bottles of Jack Daniels, I believe. I had 1 glass. I drink for medicinal purposes only, just so everybody knows. I had a few beers for medicinal purposes. But takes 1 or 2 people to get out there on the dance floor to get everything going. And I think they close at 12:30, and was a good time anyway. And we found a soup shop. They tell me soup is common after drinking. Anyway, across the street we're going to look at from one end to the other. Delicatessen there. This place was here, I think, when I was here 4 years ago. I think this place, Don Italiano, something like that. And this place, I had a burger here, and it's just as good as I remembered. Das Burgery. I had a burger in there, and definitely recommend it. And I didn't see any of the regular fast food places down here on the boulevard. The street being the boulevard, the boardwalk just to the left by the sea. I did not film all of the bars and restaurants along here, but you know, it's interesting. Cebu City could have something like this. They would have to do some major reclamation in the downtown sea area to do that. Just like over here, they've done huge amount of reclamation. They've extended the boardwalk and put a big plaza out there where all the events were going on. That was not there 4 years ago. Bogart's, interesting little bar. I stopped, had a beer there, waiting for my friends. And down each one of these streets, also side streets, there are restaurants and bars. And you know, I didn't have time to go up and down each one of them and try out all the foods and drinks. Casablanca. Here they've got various sales going on, and this place.
Many businesses are still here. That's a good sign. They survived the pandemic.
I was surprised at the number of places. I remember were here 4 years ago when I was here. I kind of thought that with 2 years of travel restrictions that a lot of these businesses would have closed down, just like they have in many parts of the Philippines. Space for rent. Some have, obviously. Parking is always an issue when you get a busy street like this with lots of restaurants and bars. Finding parking can be an issue. So that's something the city will eventually have to deal with. Very interesting thing. I'll put at the end of this video, I'll put a map as you go back in the opposite direction where I'm going now. For several kilometers, there are bars and restaurants and parking along the sea. Really interesting. I've got a new appreciation for Sans Rival Bistro. New appreciation for Dumaguete City. It was many years ago, I remember. It was before I moved here in 2015. It was rated as one of the best cities for expats to move to. It's got hospitals, universities. It's got the culture, I guess, the expat community, if you want that, if you're looking for that. Pizza, Yellow Cab Pizza, and Max's, I think Max's, chicken and pork, lots of different things there. Max's I found to be a pretty good restaurant. I'll do another video of the big public market, and they've got malls here. I didn't go into the malls, but they've got a few malls here, and lots of stuff going on anyway. Lots of stuff going on. For those of you who watch Bud Brown channel, you're a little bit familiar with some of the things going on down here with his daily routines. I was surprised how many people use that boardwalk over there, especially in the evening. People out walking and jogging. I talked to a few of the people, putting on several kilometers walking up and down that boardwalk. And if you go back the opposite direction to the left here, you will come to the Dumaguete ferry pier, and then if you go out about 7, 8, 9, 10 kilometers, then you get the other ferry pier down there. Anyway, nice boardwalk. More people start showing up about dusk, sundown, and starts cooling off a little bit this particular night, Saturday night. There was an event going on, so like I said, I think it's International Youth Day. Not absolutely positive, didn't show up on my calendar, but somebody told me it was some youth event anyway. And this used to just be a straight boardwalk straight down here, and they have reclaimed, they have thrown rocks and soil, whatever they did, into the sea, and they have expanded, and they've manufactured, they have constructed this huge plaza out here, and really amazing, big park-like area, and they've got various lights and sculptures, light sculptures, I think is a proper term, here and out in the park area. Clean. It's clean, so they have the infrastructure in place, people cleaning, people being taught not to throw their garbage on the ground in most cases. So it was a clean area, appreciated that. One thing I always look for, people have their dogs and animals out in these parks, and in many U.S. cities they've got real strict laws about picking up after your pet, and I have not seen that in the Philippines yet. Doggy trash bags and receptacles type thing, so I guess I would just say watch where you step. Not sure, maybe they have that. I did not notice dog droppings out here, but I didn't really look that close. And very long boardwalk. Way down there on the tip down there is where the passenger ferry coming directly into Dumaguete City is, and then back this way, and then the big plaza you can see sticking out into the sea. Now Cebu City could do something like that. In fact, I think they would have to. The downtown area, the major roads come in, and I don't think there's any way they're going to divert that, because they'd have to move an awful lot of businesses. So the only way to build a boardwalk, basically, that area in past downtown Cebu City down by the sea, is basically a big bathroom, very dirty water at the present time, and not fit to be not fit for any restaurants and bars and tourists, that type of thing at the present time. They could reclaim some of that, just like SRP, South Road Properties. They've reclaimed a lot of that from the sea, and just like Holland, Holland reclaimed a lot of that country from the sea. I don't know the percentage, but it happens around the world. There are issues, environmental issues, always to be taken into account, but Cebu City could do that, and maybe 5 or 10 years from now, they will do that. There's a number of projects, Mandani Bay, and I've done over 1,000 videos, a lot of them having to do with developments, condominiums, housing developments, cost of living, travel. So there are other developments. Mandaue City has a new development planned, big multi-use development over by I think the 4-lane bridge on the north end. So there are changes taking place, infrastructure going into place, more things going on. Mandani Bay is going to have a pretty much a nice boardwalk up in that area with restaurants and I think even sea activities perhaps. Dumaguete is an interesting city. It's much smaller than Cebu City. It's smaller than Iloilo City and Bacolod City, but a lot of potential. It's big enough to offer many of the things that an expat or tourist would want. South of here, you have Darwin. You've got some really nice diving places, marine sanctuaries. You've got the mountains, and we went up in the mountains, saw waterfalls and big water, I don't know how to describe it, water type park up there, and I will do another video about that. So you're close to a lot of things that you might want to visit and see. I'm sure there are caves, many waterfalls. Saw some steam coming out of a tourist site and a Filipino site. Steam just boiling out of the side of a mountain next to the road. I'll do a little video about that. So a lot more information about Dumaguete coming soon, and yeah, it's worth hanging out for a while down here and checking out the various places, just depending upon what you're interested in. Generally, cost of living here is probably a little less than it is in the big cities, but it really depends upon what you're looking for. So going over to Google Maps, and really appreciate that we're able to use this. Dumaguete, of course, and Forest Camp up here is where we went, and I'll be doing a video about that area, as well as the road on up there. We saw a big steam coming out of the side of a mountain. So it's a smaller city, but let's zoom in here a little bit. You've got Silliman University, you've got your boardwalk, what's called Rizal Boardwalk down here, and they do not show the newer area here sticking out through here. I'm not sure exactly where it comes in, but anyway, if you follow this down, you get the port of Dumaguete City and the old passenger terminal, Silliman University, and going on down along here, this is the street, the main street, Rizal Street, I think it is, and then this is the area where all the bars were, and then each of these side streets have additional restaurants and bars as well. Now, if you take that boulevard and you continue on down this way, you have a number of, and only a few of them are going to show up here, but you have quite a number. You've got parking along the highway here, along the sea, and you've got a number of restaurants and bars out this way, and most of them are not showing up, pretty sure. Coffee Bean, good coffee there, has been my experience. Tiki Bar, we ate at a place called Moon, M-O-O-O-N, 3 O's, a restaurant, and I had a beef burrito, and it was quite good actually. So you can catch, as I showed you in a previous video, how to take a ferry from Cebu to Dumaguete. You can get on a ferry that comes into the Dumaguete port, and here you have the Dumaguete Sibulan Airport, just on the north side. But now if you were on that boardwalk, or if you're on that main road going north, and if you cut over here and take this road out, and it will take you up, and let's see, I believe this is the Mayo shipping port. We left here and we took the ferry over here, I believe. And there's another port called Bato Port, and a number of years ago when I came across, I was taking a bus down here, and the bus driver convinced me to get off the bus. He stopped someplace, and I questioned, is this where I get off for the pier, for the ferry? And he must have known the hobble driver, the motorcycle driver that was sitting there. He says, "Oh, you can get off here and take the motorbike down here to the next pier." And so I did. I got off and I took a motorbike down here to Bato Port, and I took a ferry out of there. So you can take a ferry out of there. You can take a ferry out of Little Owen Port down here over to the pier over here. And just to give some perspective, my friends had kind of planned to go over here to Siquijor Island, and I did last time 4 years ago. I took a ferry over here, rented a motorbike for a day, went around the island. I was going to get on a ferry going over to Bohol, but I missed that ferry. I ended up getting on a ferry going over here to Santander, took a bus back to Cebu City. Anyway, cheers. Thanks for coming along. Dumaguete has a lot to offer. As many of you know, you've been there. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.